yeah, I used to preach a message over and over that the problem of Nigeria is P and P, pastors and politicians. I've added another P, professionals. But let's dwell on pastors and politicians. That pastor is not to mean pastor, it's just the clergy, just like you said, the Muslim religion and the Christian religion. With where we find ourselves in Nigeria and how our leaders play the religious card and how they use it to manipulate and everything, and the kind of contribution, how will I put it, the criminal conspiracy between the religious leaders and our political leaders. What's your perspective on that? Because don't let me preempt you. Let me allow you to flow. Is this something you have also observed? Keeping the people down, keeping the system down?
I think it is very important that we have the clergy that has the grace and the capacity to speak truth to power. What we have seen now, and it's always been, if you look at the Anglo-Saxon history, if you look at the history of America and all of that, there's always been a handshake between the clergy and politics. However, if it is to the extent where the politicians do not see somebody who can guide them from the spiritual perspective, then we are doomed. If the pastors or the general overseers or the imams and all the chief of this and chief of that go to these politicians and cannot look them and say, like the Elijahs will do, King so, if you do not change this that you have been doing, in the next few days you will die. If we do not have clergymen who are bold enough to speak on behalf of the people, not on behalf of themselves, about what is going on in the nation, to say, you know what, this has to change. This particular policy is anti-people, not anti my church or anti my religion. It is anti the people of Nigeria. And to say, you know what, we protest against this. This cannot continue until we have spiritual leaders who have the balls, who can damn the consequences and speak truth to power. Then the people will continue to suffer. Because again, when you don't have, that is actually supposed to be the role. And that's why I thank God for the likes of Baba Kuka. If you invite Kuka to, and he has the microphone, he speaks truth to power. And he tells them what it is. It does not mean, it doesn't call, it calls a spade a spade. This policy is not helping the people. This policy is not helping. And he knows, you know, that, look, you might say my own is too much, but let it be on record that it is said that you are eating the flesh of the masses in this country as a result of this particular policy they are put in place. It is favoring the rich, and then the poor masses are suffering. That, if that was done on the large scale, we're going to have a better country.
Let me butt in there, Dr. Leke, because these are our political leaders. I don't know how we got here. Do you know that a lot of the religious leaders, I don't want to call names right now, I don't know, maybe because of money mongering, maybe they don't know when to stop. These are very rich people already. The way the politicians are very smart at manipulating in the first place. A lot of them are psychologists. They understand the psychology of the people. That's why you see tokenism. They're just giving them little this and that just to keep them down and everything, and brainwashing them and using religion and ethnicity and all of those things. It is these same religious leaders that will give the politicians the front seat. It is these same religious leaders that they will be saying certain things on their pulpits during the campaign. Look at the last election and the election before it, you know, right from Jonathan era, religion became so prominent. And then, you know, there's a handshake between these two kind of institutions, religion and politics and everything. How will you say, anyway, I think somehow you have partially answered the question. The way that the people are so gullible and they cannot read between the lines, and just because of their submission to the religious leaders, they can just be tossed around and just be pulled by their nose strings. What will you say to that? Because people will obey religious authorities even before they obey the spiritual authorities. The religious authorities before they obey the political authorities. And the political authorities are using that. And now that they are two in one, remember the pastor whose jet was used to convey national money to go and buy arms, and that was the excuse. You don't know how much of such money laundering would have happened on the ground. You know, though people are gullible, and they just don't read between the lines concerning these politicians and pastors. Where is the deliverance? How can people How can we re-engineer that? How can we situate it in a way that at least that people can be, how will I put it? They can not saved right now. How can we re-engineer that people can be politically aware and not be sucked in by the interplay of religion and manipulations?
All right. So to answer this, I'll quote that intelligent Professor Karl Marx, when he said the religion is the opium of the masses.
Of the masses.
And to say, look, when there is a handshake between politics and religion, it is dangerous because, again, it's double barrel that has combined powers that are extremely massive to affect the result of things in the political space. Now, the argument will be that, look, you know what, as a father in the Lord, if a president is one of my members, I cannot throw him away. I mean, he's my follower, he's my sheep, as in quotes. I'm his father in the Lord. And it comes for prayer. Again, that I can, you shall no wise cast him out. All right. So he has come for prayer. It does not mean endorsement. I'm just praying for him. Now, the danger of this is the people that are following do not see it as a prayer. They see it as an anointment or an endorsement of some sort to say, okay, you know what? You don't need to appoint him or to tell us to vote for him. We have already seen the body language of this ministry that, look, you know what, let us support. Therefore, we shall cast our vote in that particular wise. Now, all of this is calculated, by the way. All of this is calculated, and like you rightly said, it is known by the politicians that when they go to these programs, and everybody is playing to the gallery on this, by the way, both the...
Okay, so we have a temporary disconnection from the end of our guest. I believe he will rejoin us any moment from now. So concerning what he was talking about, that people might not have been able to read between the lines, but the body language of the pastors and everything usually make them to be sucked in, how will I put it, by the politicians and everything. So you are back, Doctor. You want to round up your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so I said that to say that our leaders, both spiritual as well as political leaders, need to be careful because they are playing with the masses.
Thank you.
And I pray we don't get to that point where the masses fight back. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, the masses are definitely going to fight back someday. The only thing is that I'm not an advocate of violence. I believe that even if people go violent, because some of revolutions can be very, very violent, it's not necessary. Ultimately, they say it's better to judge than to war. Because the damage that is usually done when people do not resolve things amicably is worse than the problem they set out to solve. But I believe that with the re-engineering of our thought process as a people and creating more awareness of, for me, if you ask me the problem of Nigeria, I have my opinion, it's about values. Because we cannot build from top to bottom. We can't build from top down. We have to build from bottom up. If we get our values right, number one, we have to neutralize religion. Neutralize. It can be there, but it's not going to play anything in our social, no big role like it is in our national life. We neutralize religion. We revalue our values. Okay, because what is missing is about values. Then it is through that foundation that, because we cannot build without some precepts, we cannot build without some guardrails. It is the values that we adopt and we see to be true and helpful that can take us to the future. We have to build on that foundation. That's my own view. Now I want to ask you, Nigeria in the global scheme of things. The social media space, for example, you will see skits, which is okay, is entertaining. You will see songs. You see a lot of nudity out there. Some of these things you have addressed earlier when you were talking. And while other people are using the social media, they are going to space. People have been going to space since when? Since 60s. Right? I know the Apollo and the other, expeditions. People are, they are flying into going into different places like Mars and all the rest, attempts to go to those places. And we are seeing all these technologies Like we have TikTok, we have Instagram, we have Facebook, and you see the use that our own people are putting into, which is majorly consumption and entertainment. And then we are consuming technology in every aspect. And it's as if the life of our national life is even being destroyed more on those domains. Because even when you see the kind of people that dominate this kind of social media space, you are not seeing many conversations. You're just seeing skits, you're just seeing pranks, you are seeing some funny things, which is selling. Not many people even watch this kind of content. I used the Yoruba song sometimes recently, but let me throw it in. The world has moved on, they are moving on. And we are where we are. What is your view on this, the use of tech, where we are, and Nigeria in the global scheme of things, sir?
All right, so I have a different view on this a little bit, and that is, number one, I don't believe we need to play in the space game. I don't think we need to play in the high-tech games, because again, the whole of the money in Africa compared to the whole of the money in Russia, in India, in America, in UK, we can't play there. The point I'm trying to make is this. Show me one African business that is a global business, apart from the likes of Deeper Life, RCCG, and religion generally. I would like for us to see, you see, our innovation lacks depth. And even some of our music industry that we export today, in the social media space.
So we lost Dr. Leke already, and I'm actually enjoying his contribution in that aspect, because this particular engagement will not be complete unless we situate ourselves and our country, we situate ourselves as a people and our country in the global scheme of things. I know it will get back, any moment soon. Doctor, you're back.
Thank you very much. Sorry, I don't know if it is my internet or what it is. All right, so where was, there are so many things that we import. There are so many things we need to have. There's too much consumption.
Thank you.
All right, if you look around us, you count 10, 20, 50 things around you, they are all imported. Can we, for God's sake, stop importing toothpick? Can we, for God's sake, stop importing wood? We have forests all around us. Our own petrol, until recently, we had to export it out to bring in petrol. It's a shame. It's something that should never happen to us as a people. Our clothes we need to make things here in Africa for Africans. And when it comes to commodities to make, there are hundreds of things that can be made. This afternoon, I was seeing the video of a guy in Mozambique, or so thereabout, that designed a car that does not use petrol, a car that does not use electricity, a car that runs on water, that you start it and you can use it to power your house as a generator.
I've seen that too.
And you can use that car for 20 years. America, all these developed nations will start coming to us to come. They will renegotiate with us when we come up with these innovations for Africa, by Africans, for Africans. If you look around in the mobile phone we are using, the technology we are using, this internet, everything is all imported. Can we have things that can solve our agricultural problems that are African solutions for Africans? Can we have tech solutions that can connect Africa? Because the problem with Africa is we are divided. Even within Nigeria, Lagos is so different from Ogun State. Ogun State is so different from Osun State. Osun is different from Maiduguri. Maiduguri is different. Why can't we have things that unite us, such that you can do business? The farmer in Kaduna, by the way, I stumbled on something recently. That the grape that we import from South Africa to Nigeria is produced in a local government in Kaduna State. Can we link that guy to Lagos, and from Jos to Lagos by some technology company that unites us, so that we stop importing food? We can feed ourselves and have the prosperity of our nation. That, for me, I think, is what is key, so that we can produce.
Absolutely.
And not just pray.
Absolutely. What are your thoughts on Nigeria? We have just a few minutes to round up. I'm feeling you seriously. I don't want you to go, but our time is limited. What are your thoughts on Nigeria? When you look at the political space, are we serious at all? And what's your thought on this current, administration? Is there hope for Nigeria? Help us put that together. When I look at the class of legislators we have and the kind of things that is going on there and some clownish and childish tendencies, and looks like we are in a very, very crucial, very critical, Nigeria is on life support, very critical place. And we have leaders who probably they are not touched, maybe they are unaware or they are just so blind to what is going on and they're so disconnected. That's my view. What you are in Nigeria, I know you travel a lot, you travel to all parts of the world, and you have seen how it works in other places, and you collaborate with people, online every day. But our own Nigeria, is there hope? And then where we are today, I want you to touch on the current administration and all the crop of people that are leading us, and what is your thought on the way forward as a country? What are your thoughts?
If you ask me, which is what we are doing right now, I will say, again, I stand the risk of sounding like not unpopular. But this is what I would say. I think the nation has been bastardized to the point of the last two administrations, maybe the three administrations before now. I think we're on the right path. And this is partially why some of us are in the nation. We are, for the first time in the history of Nigeria, why I'm still here. I have hope. I'm somebody who loves Nigeria to the core, to my core. And I do not believe that I do believe with all of my heart that change is coming, joy is coming. This is why I believe that. For the first time, we are producing petrol in our nation, and some of our refineries are coming alive. For the first time, subsidy is removed. I think the worst has come and gone already. I think we are on our way to prosperity, and this is my personal belief. I wanted Peter Obi to be president. I have a picture of me and Peter Obi, somebody I love, but he did not win the election. But we're a nation, we have to continue. And therefore, I am looking for, even though I've seen a lot of irresponsibility, and I said that in capital letter, irresponsibility on the part of our current leaders, and from presidency to our governors, in the time when people are asked to tighten their belts, they are buying new things, that is irresponsibility of the highest order. In spite of all of that, I believe that as a nation, we are coming to prosperity, we're coming to transformation, we're coming to renewed hope. And I pray that after this particular administration, that the next generation will not take us back to where we were coming from. Because if we don't take the back pains now, we'll return this nation back to where we were before.
Wow. I think we have just like 3-4 minutes, let's say 3 minutes before we round up. Maybe I can touch one question before that. I know I've seen you, some pictures of you with the current Oni of Ife, Oba Adeyeye Ogunwusi Ojaja II. I believe you have a relationship with someone you know one-on-one. But let me take us to the traditional institution. What's your view on our traditional institutions, especially the way that our culture and those thrones have been subjugated to a lot of some funny things, and especially the incursion of religion that our traditional rulers, even the top ones, they don't know their place they don't know the difference between the culture and religion, and sometimes some of the kind of how will I put it now, some negative perception they're attracting to the throne through their private lives that could have been private. You know what Zazu did with the ex-wife of Oba Alafi, and then all the drama that happened with Olori Naomi and some of the Oloris, and from going from, I don't have anything against polygamy. I think polygamy is proper. It's only religion that came to I know that so many people will, if I was a member of one church now, they will excommunicate me. But I have done over 400 pages research on what polygamy is. It's not what Christian religion tells people, but most of pastors want to be politically religiously correct, and they can't say this. I will never marry two people at a time. I will never do it. I won't do it as a person. So to our culture and to the institution, I'm not talking about on this polygamy, but when you look at the image of that particular institution now with our culture and tradition and religion, what's your view of the traditional institutions in in Yoruba land, especially. Let's use Yoruba as an extraction, as an example of our country. We may not be able to talk about Hausa or Igbo or anything because we are both Yorubas, but it's not a Yoruba. This is not a Yoruba program. We just want to go from the known to the unknown. Let's use the ones that are happening with us, and then we can round up. Thank you very much.
I think it's unfortunate, rather unfortunate, that we're seeing experiences of all the things you've mentioned, including the Oba of Ifo that was slapping somebody and doing all of those things. It's rather unfortunate. And this is why I will quickly...
down for Baba Adekoye, if not when they are not in church, outside there, what about me and all of those things and a lot of those stuff.
We can go on and on about it, but this is what I'll say. And this is why you will find some stools, let me say administrators of certain stools in Yoruba land are beginning to prefer to have people that are coming from abroad. Like there's a particular skit around this, that if you are strolling around your area, the Obaship of your area will not come to you. It's now becoming the imported. Some of these things are happening as a result of an attempt to sanitize the royal stools in Yoruba land, to bring people who are cultured. Even if Ifa is choosing the area boy of that area, they will say, you know what, development cannot come to our community.
I will interject there. If we are talking about being cultured, is it the kind of culture that the Oluwo brought from Canada and America? Is it the kind of culture that Andy brought? Is that what we are seeing? And the Ojaja, is that what we are seeing, what we are talking about? Are we not better?
To be honest,
people?
To be honest, it's an attempt. Because again, there are three things that are involved in recruitment. And it applies to either presidency or from general manager to gate man. Number one is the skill of the person you are hiring. Number two is the knowledge of the person you are hiring. And number three is the attitude, the behavior of that person. Skills can be taught. I mean, knowledge can be acquired over time. You can go on ChatGPT and acquire knowledge on almost anything, on how to fly a plane or how to cook a 4-euro. But behavior, either you are abroad or you are here, it cannot be taught. A bad person is a bad person. Somebody who has bad mouth is somebody who has mouth bad. Somebody who has anger issue is somebody who has anger issue. And that is why, as a people, we can do better to say the people that will hold the royal stools in Yoruba land should be Omoluabis.
Wow.
And not Omoita.
Thank you, Dr. Leke Oshiyemi. Thanks for coming on If You Ask Jimmy, and thank you for speaking to all the issues that we have raised with you today. Viewers, this is where we wrap it up today on this edition of If You Asked Jimmy. Please, what are your thoughts? What are your comments? What are your views on the conversations that we have had? You can put your thoughts in the comment section and let the engagement continue. We will do this on the next one. We have videos that we have done with other people from other parts of the world, Nigerians in diaspora who are speaking to issues both globally, and you can see them in our channel. And please click the like button and subscribe to our channel so that you can see our videos whenever we upload them, and also click the notification bell on this channel If You Ask Jimmy. Special thanks to our helpers at the back end, OMS. I'm sure they are going to scroll their number on the screen. I just do the talking. I have my daytime job. I'm a very busy professional, but I'm empowered because I have support from the Odeku Multimedia, who helps me, with their team, to make sure that these things get out to you there. They are involved in end-to-end of social media and digital media, new media. They are very, very professional, from the UI, UX design up to the production, pre-production, post-production. That is what they do, and also they manage social media for people. For people who are wondering, where do I get the time to do this? It's very involving, but I organize around my time. Time management is what I do, and I have this support from the back end. Thank you everyone for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Thank you again, Dr. Leke Oshiyemi. On behalf of our viewers,
my pleasure.
I appreciate you. Thank you, sir.
Thanks for having me.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.